Can you hear me out there? What's up, fight fans? And thank you for tuning in here to another edition here at Round One Sports Talk. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. Let's get this segment on. How you doing out there, chat? Good morning. I'm getting up, getting a good start, having my coffee. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of boxing to talk about. I want to hear what you guys got to say with some of the things that top stories that are floating around in boxing, some of the big fights that are coming around, some of the fights that we should be looking forward to and paying attention, and rather than all this distraction on the outside of boxing when we got good fights coming up. We have some good matches, some good cards. You know, the Navarrete card is coming up. I would like to see even the prelims here to see if any hidden gems. If I start seeing the next best great thing. What's up, Road Rage? How you doing, brother? In the building. Thank you for tuning in. What's up? At work? What's up, baby? Okay, I hope to give you a great show. Enjoy. So, and then there's a lot of things, and one of the top stories too is also Ryan Garcia. I even went on a little thing yesterday in my live about Ryan Garcia's situation, and here goes another situation. I as soon as I turn on, go back on, he's in the headlines again. He's supposed to be having a fight come December 30th out there, I guess, and Japan or something. Where is it? Riyadh or whatever, right? Um, I haven't been following that fight at all. But I would have when I first heard about it, a lot of people were distasteful because it kind of shows that he doesn't have any respect or something for you know, for his sanction that they gave him here for a year suspension. When you're suspended from a sport, you can't talk with promoters. You're not supposed to. Like in the NFL, the NBA, no owner can come and talk to that person. He's signed to somebody. That's against the law. He can get sued for that, and he would lose if they can prove that he talked to him on suspension. You can't do anything. But in boxing, there's a loophole. If you didn't get suspended in that country, well, then we'll let you fight here. So fighters get on a plane, and and sometimes to stay active, I would like to see Ryan Garcia go out there. So that's what I'm about to get into, right? All right. It was shown that Ryan Garcia and the Japanese opponent was on stage, and they had an exchange of word, little shoving thing, and they're selling this fight. But it seems like Golden Boy hasn't signed off on the fight due to the fact that Ryan Garcia is signed with Golden Boy, Oscar. When I looked at this Japanese dude, I was like, damn, I don't know anything about him. I'm looking, he's 6 feet tall. I'm like, damn. I'm like, man, he kind of big, right? And I'm thinking to myself, damn, Oscar, bro, I'm not sure if you should sign off on this because you're taking a liability or a chance. That's the dude that beat the shit out of Manny Pacquiao. Remember when Manny Pacquiao tried to make that? That's him. And he took that fight serious. I know Manny Pacquiao is old, but Manny Pacquiao didn't look that bad, and he was just beating the shit. I mean, Manny Pacquiao should have known more than that kid. He probably forgot more than that kid knows. And Ryan Garcia is gonna go fight this dude, right? I'm not saying Ryan Garcia can't beat this dude, right? But you take a big gamble in your superstar by letting him go host an event. And you mean to tell me that if Golden Boy hasn't signed off on this, is this Ryan doing one of Ryan's shit again, thinking that he's bigger than the sport of boxing? That he's just gonna deem him, oh, don't worry, I'll get Golden Boy to go along with it. Come on, let's go. Is it me or did Ryan Garcia look fat? His cheeks was like this. So you're telling me that he's in shape. You take a liability of Ryan Garcia going out there, wherever the fight is, getting knocked out. Yo, there goes your cash cow, golden boy. Now there's a flip side to this coin. He knocks this dude out. He looks pretty good doing it. It's going to make you feel better about his return. If this is beneficial where that you keep him active, you better study this Japanese dude and really weigh your options. Because if Ryan pulls it off, yeah, at least you got him training. When he comes back, he's not just getting out of bed. God knows Ryan Garcia needs this. And even if you hit him with a pump fake, Oscar, say, I'll sign off on it, but the fight ain't going to be scheduled until the beginning of next year. That gives you one more month. You make sure he gets into the gym and get ready. Just drag it on along a little bit, I guess. Then let him have his fight, but at least he'll be ready. He pulls that off. You come back to the States, he's going to be in the minds of the people. Some are going to scrutinize him. Some are going to be like, yeah, Ryan, you know what I'm saying? They say all publicity is good. Bad publicity, good publicity. It's publicity, right? And one way or another, you may just tune in, whether you want to see him get beaten or you feel like he should be taught a lesson for the antics and his approach to the sport of boxing. And everything he does while in boxing affects boxing. The PE scandal, the going on talking about rich people adopting kids. These are things that people are not forgetting. The comment statements against the Muslim, the N-word that came out of his own mouth. And there's been a lot of things with this kid, and the list goes on. Now, do I feel like the kid still has potential? And, you know, we only live once. We only live once. And to throw away your life over like stupid stuff, man, like real stupid stuff, it's sad to see wasted talent. And I touched on this, with the Charlo twins and everything like that. And I just hope that these men are doing the right thing. Ryan Garcia, you can't play with boxing because boxing is going to teach you a lesson. If you're not ready, yeah. I talked about this a long time ago, and I said to myself, just before the Devin Haney fight, I was talking to my older brother, and I told him, I said, you know what the worst thing that can happen? He said, what? I said, that Ryan Garcia wins this fight. He looks at me, and I looked at him, and he goes, why? And I was like, because it'll solidify all his bullshit. In his head, if he pulls this off, he's done no wrong. God was with him. He would have convinced himself that God was with him the whole time. He'll no longer remember his actions. Now he can double down on his bullshit. I said, man, I hope there's a way. Oh, shit. I said, I hope there was a way he wins, but he's taught a lesson. That's it, kind of exactly what happened. Damn, I jinxed Ryan Garcia. Yo. Jose, you remember that when we were talking? I said that I said it to my brother. I was like, yo, that's the worst thing that can happen. He won. I was like, no, yo, they had a crown, like Victoria's Secret, one of them. They made like a crown with diamonds, and it was like a thing. He came out on a horseback riding with a jacket off, with his chest in the air. Yo, his head was up here somewhere. Y'all remember this shit? Yo, they carried him. He looked stupid as hell. He had some people carry him on one press. Remember that? And he had like his leg on one dude and another dude. Y'all remember this shit, right? Ryan Garcia was doing, right? Yo, didn't he go on stage with a beer, right? Huh? Then he put into the crowd F you to the Mexicans. And they're talking about, he said something about Muslim people. Bro, he his own people, because not being born in Mexico type thing. Like, yo, this kid has been in some headliners, you know, but business is business. And at the end of the day, Oscar De La Hoya, sincerely, and yo, Ryan, you might be upset with me, but Ryan, if you were a boxing promoter and you had a little Ryan Garcia, you signed your little Ryan Garcia, okay? And he wanted to go off and take this fight, and it becomes like a Rocky movie. You go out there and this kid punches your head in, your fighter's head in. What do you got left? You just let him go off to some country with no backing, and they hit him with an okie doke. And this dude, it was supposed to be a tune-up fight, and he beats the shit out of Ryan Garcia. Oscar, what do you got? Like, Ryan, you just can't. I understand activity. Now, Oscar, Ryan's nice. Ryan can handle himself. Okay? Ryan ain't no old Manny Pacquiao. Ryan get in trouble when this kid get too crazy. Ryan got the power to stop this Japanese dude. Yes, he does. But you got to get Ryan in shape. Ryan Garcia, you look at his face, Oscar. You're going to tell me that he's ready? In a month, he's going to turn into who? And you got to be honest with yourself, Oscar De La Hoya. He didn't even look that impressive against Devin Haney. To tell you the truth, Oscar, you know it, Oscar. Ryan Garcia didn't look that great. He could have been better in shape. He could have been better trained. And Derek James and them seem to be having a fiasco with their fighters, losing fighters and everything. And I think there's a lot of distraction there too. If Ryan Garcia got honest with himself, Ryan Garcia is the type of fighter that believes he's learned everything he needs to know. Long as he can talk boxing with the greatest coaches, he excuses himself from putting in the work. Long as he can talk the talk, he feels all he has to do is stay in shape. In order to sharpen up your skills, Ryan Garcia's got to be in there sparring, reacting to boxing speed. You got to keep yourself in boxing shape. It's one thing to do some push-ups, some rope, cardio, run down fucking 5 miles. That's not going to win the fight. Julio Cesar Chavez, yo, you know what he used? He didn't do any of that other shit. Didn't hit no pads, didn't hit no bag, wasn't jumping no rope. He probably jogged, right? But all he did was spar, because he said there's no better experience than hands-on. Ryan Garcia thinks that if he run 5 miles or hold his breath underwater, that he's a fucking ninja. No. Oscar De La Hoya needs to protect his investment. That's one of his biggest stars. And when you got William Cepeda playing DuckTales, yo, you got to be honest. Yo, we don't even, and now Virgil, what's this rumor? Virgil Ortiz is going to fight Jaron Boots Ennis? Are you guys going for that? Really? How many times have you seen them put up fake fights to keep their fighter's name irrelevant? How many times have they done this to us? You can't tell yet. Well, I'm here to show you. That shit ain't happening. Yeah, right. When it comes to Virgil Ortiz, and it would be, as a matter of fact, the WBO and the conference, right? Okay, remember Rachel Donaire? She was out in Puerto Rico. She stopped by my show, and she was telling me they were going out to the WBO conference. So that made me do follow-ups and look, and then the WBO release their ruling and how they're going to approach the game to put some of these fighters and hold some of these fighters accountable. Because you see, one of the biggest problems in boxing is to get the mandatory to fight the champion. Some mandatories feel like they're not getting their opportunity and they're being overlooked for bigger names. Other ones have been mandatories to this boxer for over 2 years and just for some reason never fights them. Virgil Ortiz, Terrence Crawford at 147. How long was he his mandatory? So what the WBO did, right, is that they're trying to hold the fighter accountable, right? So that they can't duck. Like listen, the WBO is saying if you've been paying sanctioning fees to our ranking system, because it's not free to be in their ranking system, you got to pay sanctioning fees and then you fight and you move up depending if you're winning, losing, right? Okay, they're like, if we offer you a title fight and you say no, yo, they don't put you down in the 3rd ranking or the 4th ranking. They take you off the list. But let me clear this up. They do take you off the list, but you're going to, in your very next fight, you're going to shoot up to a very high ranking. What that does is it kind of like teaches the guy a lesson. Oh shit, I'm out of the ranking. They stay in the ranking. Their very next fight, depending how they fare, go out there, knock the dude out, what his ranking was, they're going to place him back in the ranking. It's going to be, in the middle of the top 15. And he'll go back in there and he'll have to work his way back up. And could take 2 years, right? So the WBO is doing that. Now, whether you believe that's good or bad, I can see a different version to this story, right? Where that this could be bad, right? The WBO, just like the IBF, right? The IBF stripped Usyk because they felt like he had to fight their mandatory fighter. And they didn't care about their rematch. That's not the IBF's concern. The IBF has a ranking system. The next man in line is asking for his shot. What's the holdup? You want to go take another year off and run your own? You think you could do whatever you want with our belt? Well, we're here to inform you that you can't. And he goes, well, if I get out with Tyson Fury, he'll sue me. Well, that's your problem. We didn't tell you to take this rematch. We didn't tell you you chose to do that. That's your business. Give us our belt. You know where to find us. Right? The WBO is about to do the same shit, but enforce the mandatory position. Right? Now, that can lead into some kind of corruption. You see? Now, what happens if the number one guy breaks his hand? What happens if the number one guy is just coming off of a fight? Right? What happens when the champion just wins his fight and is ordered to fight the number one guy and the champion don't fight you? If it was offered to you, what happens? Like, and there's a lot of situations where that the WBO can use that to take a guy out of the rankings. William Cepeda now, what is he going to do? Right? Is the WBO going to say they offered him the fight? Now they got the power to say, to push the fighter over the ledge. William Cepeda's been there for a long time. All they got to say is, yeah, we never offered him a championship fight. He still stays number one. But the next guy that gets there 2 days later, hey, you got to fight the champion. What, 4 months from now? We have a schedule and the champion needs to fight. You're the next man up. You just got out of the ring. Your eyes like this. You might be suspended for a little while. That's not their problem. How, what what could they do with this with the fighters? So like I understand what they're trying to do, unless they can get the other sanctioning bodies to kind of agree with that, which will keep the fighter accountable, which is pretty cool. You can't become William Cepeda. You're gonna have to fight one of these. There won't be a fighter that's the number one across the entire board if these belts were to do that. We would never run into a fighter like that ever again. That would be a thing of the past. No one could achieve that because he would have been the mandatory to somebody's belt when he got there first. You're not holding up the division. The rightful people are getting their opportunity, and the best is actually fighting the best. No one's going to want to give up their position in line. I mean, things should be able to be worked out. I think there's situations, but I also see good and bad with that. I would like the other sanctioning bodies to agree to this shit and hold these fighters accountable. It's good, but with power comes responsibility. I can see some situations where they can really turn that against the fighter. So, let's see where this goes. It's a step in the right direction of trying to hold these fighters accountable. From what I'm understanding, I think Keyshawn Davis is about to fight for that 135-pound WBO championship. And I does Cepeda should Cepeda be stripped of his number one spot? There was a fighter that right now that just was the first fighter that got stripped of his position. I forget his name there. And they took him out of the ranking entirely. He's not even in the top 15 because the WBO said they offered him a fight and he denied the fight. And when you go look him up, he's not even in the. I didn't see him in the top 50, nowhere. None of the sanctioning bodies, and everybody else is back in place. So he was the first man that they did it to. Oh no, the nurse is here. Hold on, let me see if she just comes in. Oh fuck, I gotta open the door. All right, I'll be right there. All right. So, whew, I had to run down there real quick. Yeah. Well, at least it's enjoyable. My screen. Yo, so like, where was I? Why does that sound like an echo? Right. So, where were we? Let me take my sip of my coffee. What other big headlines inside of boxing too that I wanted to talk about besides Ryan Garcia and this Oscar De La Hoya thing? Oh, Naoya Inoue and Sam Goodman, and they're fighting Japan and stuff. You know, like I said, I was talking about this fight, and I really liked it. Sam Goodman's activity. And activity is one of the things that I pay attention to, the fighter and stuff. And fighters like Errol Spence Jr., right? He hasn't been active in quite some time, and he's still trying to get in the ring with a fighter like such as Sebastian Fundora. And I think that at this point he shouldn't take on such a dangerous fighter like Sebastian Fundora. I think Errol Spence Jr. should start at the bottom, and make his way back up. Like a legend, George Foreman. When George Foreman came back to boxing in his later years, right? Um, he didn't ask for any handouts like right away or any favors. He legitimately started fighting like these rinky dink places and stuff. I'm not telling Errol to fight in rinky dink places. I'm just saying that he should start lower in competition and gradually work his way back up a little bit. When he feels strongest or better, then he can take that leap. But going in right away to such a dangerous fighter like Sebastian Fundora, I think that that's a mistake. And I think that Errol should like really back out of this fight right here and just let Sebastian go do championship shit. I know you got a big name, son, but I don't think that um you should take that kind of challenge coming back, from a loss like that. Don't put yourself in another risky fight right away. To prove what? To who? Who are you trying to prove anything to? That you still want to be a champion? If you do it the right way, son, you'll become a champion eventually, Errol Spence Jr. If it was meant to be, it was meant to be. No matter how you organize these fights, whether you get the belt early or you get it late, you still would have got as many fights that you got left in the tank. You don't view it like you won't become a world champion ever again unless you fight for a belt right away. No, you can get a belt right away and still defend it 3 times and then retire, right? Okay. How about if you just flip it around? Fight the 3 fights, then become champion, then retire. It's the same amount of fights, but position yourself in the right position. Whatever amount of fights you got left, that's what you're going to get out of yourself. Don't go in there like that, brother. And don't be pushed by the fans, or if you don't fight for a world championship, then, it's all. No. Errol, you go out there and you show your dominance in the fight, and you show the public that we can trust that you're back. Give us a fight that we can see with our own eyes. Yeah, that's the Errol we're talking about. Now we feel confident. Then after you do that, you quickly announce 6 months later, you want another fight. Go right into, rest for a little while, month. Don't stay rested for long, and go right into another fight. Then potentially whoever you fight out of that, then you go for that world title fight. You see? And I also think that there's room at 160. So maybe I don't know how big Errol is like that. Can he hold that kind of weight? I mean, he looked tall versus Terrence Crawford. I thought he was really the bigger man. It didn't seem like that, did it? But Errol looked massively weight drained at 147. 154, he's saying he looked comfortable. He released some video with I guess Frank Martin. He said some comment about his leaving his track shoes at home. Just because he releases a video with him and Frank Martin talking about some doesn't mean that Errol's back into Errol shape form. Don't be a victim of that. Don't see a video and be like, oh shit, Errol's back. He's punching a bag. Get the hell out of here. Remember they tried to sell us that Jamal Charlo was back and they showed him hitting the bag? Bro, he looks so bad and so out of shape. Because I know what I'm looking for. And I was like, wow, he looks horrible. Yeah. And he never got the fight, did he? No. Just to keep his name irrelevant a little bit. The PR team, you know, they need your name to start building until they work the kinks out, until they get you the fight. Start sliding your name in here and there. The PR team will take care of that for you. It's boxing is part entertainment. And you got to have a good PR team. You can't hate on a guy for sometimes doing these kind of antics because it's necessary at times. You don't want to fall off the radar, out of sight, out of mind. It can affect your ticket sales. So um getting people to talk to you about you in arguments is usually typically, you're still, and then they're checking on your PR teams, checking on, yeah, they talking about it. Okay, we got like 2-3 months to put this fight together. Find me an opponent, and they do, what they work their magic, you know. So yeah, I don't like that with Errol Spence Jr. just jumping in like that. There's a lot of good fights too coming on because in December 7th, we also got well, you had two good cards. One, Liam Paro and Richard Hitchison are also fighting December 7th in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So while that fight is going on, the Navarrete fight card is going to be going on. And the co-main of that is really, I want to see that again. And then, of course, I'm going to tune in for Navarrete because he's a stud in himself. I mean, come on, man. Navarrete's like that. He's that guy. Yo, Navarrete impresses me, man, sometimes. He had that boring fight. Yeah, okay. But, it's because their styles they're both unorthodox styles, and when matched up like that. But when he fought like Valdez the first time, like the way I always talked about it, it's like Valdez never made any adjustments. And what I think really killed him by like a thousand, the deaths by 1,000 cuts, is that every so often he would be successful and land the punch and what he was trying to do. And by doing so, um, he stood with the same game plan. He didn't make no adjustments. He didn't. He just kept coming out and trying, and he would throw a couple punches, miss it, and boom, and he's, oh shit, yeah, it's working. And then he would get tagged up, pow, 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 and he would still try to. You could see he did have a game plan to fight Navarrete, but Navarrete he just looked that much bigger than him. He stifled a lot of his punches, and it seemed like his punch was really heavy. It never really seemed like Valdez had the kind of punch power to really like discourage Navarrete from coming in or leaping in or keep slugging it out with him. Whenever he decided to really settle down on that front foot, he was willing to exchange with him. You know, I think that the fight goes 12 rounds again. I think that Navarrete wins in a 12-round decision, or if not, he stops him late in the fight. And I'm thinking around 10, 11, 12. That's if he's gonna stop him, I think he'll stop him then, or the fight's just gonna go 12 rounds and Navarrete's gonna win by decision. That's how I see that fight playing out. Now the co-main event is interesting in a lot of ways because it's a rematch for the WBO title. And Robeisy Ramirez was the former champion, and a lot has happened. That was upset of their fight. Espinoza and Robeisy, their fight was actually nominated for upset of the year. Not sure if Espinoza won the upset of the year award in that fight, but I think I knew if who won it. I'm just forgetting right now for some reason. But they're running it back. And by running it back now, a lot of people have a lot to say about the outcome of this fight. I flip flop every day. on thinking about how I see the fight going because I understand who Robersi is. Robersi's the kind of fighter that he is God gifted. He has given talent. When you got God given talent, meaning you can teach him something, I bet, and he'll pick up on it like this, and he'll look fluent at doing it. I think it goes to his head. I think he relies on God given talent to win his fights. He knows he's that good, right? And at some point, he's either not going that extra mile or just conceding in everything that got him there. Maybe going up a few reps. Or last training camp, I only ran 5 miles. This one, I'm running 6. Not really studying fighting. As a boxer, you got to study angles, cutting the movement of the human body, the reaction of making something happen. Meaning, if I do this, what's the most common reaction if I threw like that, right? The most common reaction is going to be your opposite hand coming my direction. Now, what are the odds it's an uppercut? What are the odds that it's a straight shot, right? Okay. So the way we find out that, okay, I throw the punch to make the movement to get the reaction out of him. I'm looking for what he did. Let's go. He goes. I step back. Whatever he threw, I was going to step back anyway. I just wanted to see what way he was going to approach it. Okay. I read that. Okay. Throw the jab. Throw the jab. I'm setting him up now. I throw this one. He throws. I slip. Bang! I'm trying to get a reaction. And when you start to learn these things, how to bait somebody with your feet, you can make somebody take a stutter step, a weird angle. If you dart and cut in front of them, do they adjust well? You watch their feet. Are they crossing their legs? You start to move your feet and you realize that you're working off your feet to create openings for your shots. So when you start to learn these things in boxing, this is when boxing starts to really undress herself. You start to see boxing in different set of eyes, if you understand what I mean. You start to see the beauty in fighting. Anger, rage does not control you. You're a focused, calculated machine. Knocking someone out doesn't bring you pleasure, but you have the discipline to not go any further. You won't let yourself be enraged where you'll start smashing his face into the ground just to try to prove you're a tough guy. You'll be a disciplined fighter, do what you have to do, and be trained to stay focused. That's when you see boxing and fighting in a different set of eyes. You understand that you're better in shape than the average person. Now, the average person is vulnerable against you. Now, if you pick a fight and you just now you're being a bully because, unless he attacks you, defend yourself. Hey, he's asking for it. Hey, I can't, I got to defend myself. But you just, being in a situation and the guy starts to cower away. No, I don't want to fight you. And that enrages you. Watching a man cower, now you know you can smack him. Then all of a sudden, the little devil on your shoulder starts talking to you. That's where the discipline and the mindset of a real trained fighter avoids that. He diffuses the situation rather than escalating it. Who knows, you smack that guy, he runs off, gets a gun, and blows your head off. Had you let him go and said, okay, but that's where a lot of the training, discipline, it all comes into play. These are different traits of a fighter. You must acquire and be not you as a fighter. You got to find the calm in the storm. The fight starts, everything's going good. You're working off the jab, you're doing what your coach told you to do. You're circling to the right. Then all of a sudden in an exchange, you get caught with a shot you didn't see. You don't know where the shot came from. Now your legs are kind of doing the chicken leg. You don't understand what's going on. You've never been in this situation. In that moment, your training is you have to know how to have your shit together, not to panic, what to do in the storm. This guy keeps coming at you. Some of good fighters make great decisions. A lot of people criticize Jamel Charlo for taking that fight against Saul Canelo Alvarez, but he did something really smart. He was hit big in that fight, and Saul Canelo Alvarez was right there to score the knockout he desperately was seeking. He had a wounded duck in front of him. And for one of the first times I saw a boxer utilize a rule in boxing that's there to protect the boxer, but not a lot of boxers use it. He recognized that his head was spinning and he needed to buy some time. He took a knee, a standing 8 count. Yo, that was one of the smartest things he did. In fact, it was so smart, he got to the 12th round, didn't he? He avoided from being embarrassed and being knocked out. A less experienced fighter would have tried to engage Saul and would have got knocked the fuck out. He was buzzing. A greener fighter would have felt like, oh shit, here he comes, and would have threw up, and that's all Saul. He would have stepped back, shot, bam. The next thing you would have been doing was like, oh shit, those are pretty lights. Because you'd be laying flat on your back. And these are some of the things that's these gyms and you preparing to elevate your fight game. These are all things you're going to need. They're going to come to factor one day in a fight for you. You know, it's kind of like doing a training that you're like, you don't see why. You're like, man, come on, man. What the hell does this got to do with this? And one day you're going to need that. You're going to need that. You're going to have to dig in that bag and be like, oh shit, Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. And you see why. Some things in life are just like that. You just got to believe in the process. You know, as a fighter, just believe in the process. And, you know, that's a lot of these fighters, you know, they're not on the same level. And a lot of fighters, sometimes I think that fans try to hold the fighters on the same level. You know, you got Shakur Stevenson right now. You know, he's in all kinds of situations. You know, Lamont Roach fight with Tank Davis. You know, in the undercard of that, the rumored fight with that is Jose Valenzuela versus Gary Antoine Russell. Wow, it seems like a tough fight, but you see, you want to know what I think's going to happen in this fight? If this fight is for real. Let's just say I'll entertain the notion that entire fight card is real. Okay, because that's not up anywhere. You can't buy any tickets for it. That is not official. I'm just going to keep it funky, but it's a pretty good fight, interesting fight it would be, right? Okay. Now, on one hand, I see this being a train wreck for Jose Valenzuela. All the warning signs are there. He won a belt, left his trainer, We seen this before from other fighters. Anthony the Destroyer Ruiz, John Ruiz, right? Uh, we seen this a lot of times happen. No sooner that the guy wins the world championship, Mike Tyson left his trainer, you know, now their heads get big. It was reported that Jose Valenzuela was, you know, reaping the fruits of his labor. Congratulations, young man, you became a world champion. I guess Esau Pitbull Cruz didn't opt to do the rematch right away. So now Esau Pitbull Cruz is fighting on another card. And it's being announced that Gary Antoine Russell. Now, if Gary Antoine Russell goes out there and wipes him down, that's going to speak to and say that, you know, uh, here's another case where a fighter won a world title and went on vacation. And he thought that everything that he accomplished, he did it. That he did this all by himself. That he could do it again. That it's him in there, not these guys. Not recognizing the team or the training or how tough they are on you is what made you the man you are. Jose Valenzuela can fight. The fight I would have liked to see him rematch is the Edwin De Los Santos fight. But a lot of people think that Gary Antoine Russell would beat Jose, right? And I'm like, did you guys see Gary Antoine Russell's last fight? Y'all saw that shit? There was no controversy in that fight. That was a clean cut winner. And it wasn't the Russell kid. That fight wasn't even, he got taken to school in that fight. Yes, he did. For as tough as they tried to portray him, boxing could be his Achilles. A real boxer, anyway. When we see Jose Valenzuela, is he there yet with on that boxing level? We're gonna have to see. And can his jaw take a Gary Antoine Russell punch? I think that Gary Antoine Russell saw a different level out of Alberto, right? And I think that he went back to the lab and he learned something from that fight, and he's going to even come out even better. Gary Antoine Russell, him and his brothers, man, they came up pretty fast. They got a good boxing history, man. Shout out to their dad for making great young men. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's gonna get better. And I think we're gonna see, man, Jose Valenzuela, bro. Um, I think he's gonna look worse, man. And Gary's gonna shine on his ass. Hell yeah. Not unless, man, because all the warning signs are there for me for Jose. Lionheart, what's up, baby? In the building. All the warning signs of a fighter, like, being stubborn and, trying to be like, no, it's me. You're fired. You're fired. And going with that's a lot of distraction. And don't tell me what I can do. I'm going out. And, he lost his mind. He forgot what got him there. I've seen this. Those are a lot of warning signs that maybe the next time we see him ain't gonna be the best version of him. And the Russell brother, they're animals. I know what it's like to be raised in a house with brothers, and we're all fighters. I know what that's like. All right, so there's get the man. Listen, opportunity at a world title, bro. He's gonna fight his heart out. And I'm not sure what version really we're gonna get with a new coach. Well, not necessarily like a new coach. They've worked together in the past and shit. He's gone there and shit. So I'm not too sure. Like, Garcia, like, you know, I don't think it's too far off, right? So Um, but it's the fighter. It's the fighter. You know what's up? I'm Lionheart. What are you talking about over here? Oh no! Yo, yeah, that's like you winning the Notre Dame's title and going on vacation for a year. You know what I'm saying? You think you're going to come back and be in shape to win the no, Lionheart. You know what I'm saying? It's the yo, the IBF took their belt back, man. Yeah, I had to fight my mandatory. I passed on it. They took my belt. I got stripped. Yeah. So, when we look at some of these situations in boxing, some seem to be like fucking falling down, like boxing was laying down for these guys, right? Like David the Monster Benavides and David Morrell, right? Bro, within the month, they should talk to each other one time. Next thing I knew, the fight was scheduled. I was like, no way. And everybody, I'm looking at all the other fighters and I'm going, William Cepeda, what the hell's wrong with you? Right? Like, I'm looking at fighters like that. And then you got young, hungry lions like Keyshawn Davis that is, can you hate him for taking an opportunity that Uncle Bob got him? If Uncle Bob can get him that shot at that WBO title, right, and fight the other Ukrainian fight, would you say no? Oh no, I can't jump over William Cepeda. He's the next man in line. Hey William, or can you? Oh, you broke your hand. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'll go. Yo, listen. You can't hate on Keyshawn. And what does this do to William Cepeda after the WBO making these new rules? You know, um, without the other organizations backing the WBO, since he's the top guy in all four, really taking him off the ranking from the WBO does what? He's still the number one in three other ones. You guys let him get in a position where, so that's why I'm saying, unless the other belts, you know, hold these fighters accountable. Like, as soon as the WBO took them off their ranking, the IBS should be calling them, hey, yeah, we got a title fight for you. All right. Um, you know, you're gonna have to fight Shakur. As soon as his injury, you gotta fight him. That's it. If he says no, then you take him off his system. Then, etc., etc. You gotta fight Tank. No? All right. I don't. Yeah, you take him off one, the WBO. What does that do? He's still fucking the other three, bro. Ah. That's why they got to back each other, the sanctioning bodies. They got to come together collectively. And, but as an organization, it's kind of tough. It's going to be a little bit tougher for them to get unifications, right? And the reason why of all this, because the organizations really don't want to unify with other organizations and split the money. They rather just have a guy with their belt representing their belt and being their champion. What essentially is what you're saying is that the IBF champion of the world is better than the WBA champion of the world. See, like fighters like Trinidad and Subriel Matias, they honored just the IBF. They didn't need to get the other belts. They went on runs with their organization. When they left their belt, that was for the IBF. So unifying for the sanctioning body, it's better for the athlete, for the boxer, for his recognition and credibility and his legacy. He wants to get unified, but the it's not beneficial for them to split the pie four ways. Like, they don't like that shit. That's why the IBF took their belt away from Usyk, because they could put it on Dubois and sell and make money and get 100% of the pie. They don't got to share it with 3 other organizations. See, the IBF don't care what the WBC is doing. And the WBC don't give 2 shits about the IBF's belt. They only care about the WBC. And so forth and so forth and so forth. So, it's so when we're looking at these situations and we're like, oh, this champion doesn't want to fight, it might be that the sanctioning bodies are not signing off on it. They're tired. That explosion with all those belts, they didn't make all the money. They got a huge star in Saul. And since the WBC got a chokehold in boxing, they probably get the biggest cut. And they a bunch of bullies, this WBC. They really are. They're fucking gangsters over there, right? But I don't hate on them. Business is business. If I was the WBC president, bro, I can't say that. I gotta be a shark to play with sharks. What am I gonna be? A noble, honest person and not do no fuckery and all you guys are cheating around me? Hell no. I'm gonna be just as shysty as all of you guys. And that's you gotta remember, man, this is boxing. Bunch of gangsters, mafia dudes ran this. They was like abducting referees back then, trying to stage fights, gamble on fights, be seen with the champion in casinos. And it was a real tough man shit. If you was a gangster on the street and you were photographed with the heavyweight champion of the world, it gave you a status of a badass dude. You must be badass if you're hanging around with the heavyweight champion of the world. A lot of gangsters were attracted to that. And the sport itself, by being violent in nature, it attracted tough men. And when in a world that there's nothing higher than a man. See, men only compete against men. Women try to compete against us and themselves, but essentially, we're looking around, we only see another man. That's who we typically have to compete against. So I think that boxing is getting cleaner now. There's a lot of rules that are being put in place. A lot of the old stuff is gone. It's a lot of new entities coming into boxing promoters, pay-per-view channels, et cetera, streaming platforms. And a lot of the gangster days are over with. They realize that if you paid the athlete enough money, there's not too much you can offer him to throw the fight because you already paid him handsomely. Now he can just be comfortable and be himself. And there's no better outcome than to knowing in your hearts of heart they equally fought each other on an even playing field. We would all like to believe that that's how most of the boxing matches are conducted. There's been cases, Ryan Garcia, testing positive, and these things happen. But I still think that boxing is in a better place now than it was way back then. When we saw shit like this, that's a prime example that when they had control of boxing, this is the biggest duck at that time in boxing history. And in fact, this is what this picture is for. If you're not familiar, this was the second time Sonny Liston fought Muhammad Ali. Second time. He took a dive in the fight. It was like a phantom kind of punt. When Muhammad did that famous picture, this was in a sequence, but his arm was just going up when he was doing it. There's another one with his arm like this. What he was actually telling him was, get up. Nah, don't lay down, bro. Don't do this. And he realized he took a dive in the fight and the fix was in. That's a prime example of what I'm talking about. That these days right here, they over with. Like I don't think that Dante Wilder went out there and lay down for that. Tyson Fury can beat him that many times. I don't believe that shit. I think he went out there trying to knock out Tyson Fury, bro. I don't think no fix was in. I think there was some cheating involved. Yeah, there was definitely cheating involved. But the fix, nah, nah, nah. See, that's the difference in some sports. Yeah, there's cheating going on in sports. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But fixed sports, script, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul type shit, in real boxing, nah, I think those days are over with. Yeah, you don't see that shit. You don't see a dude just lay down anymore like that. Nah, you know what a knockout looks like. You could pretend like, oh, he dropped his hand again. Bro, nobody, you freely going in there for free brain damage. Free, yay, I got free brain damage right here. Here's $1,000. Go in there and get brutally knocked out. You don't know the effects that's going to have to you. Not every man takes the punch the same way. You really want to, yeah. Go in there and get some brain damage. Now, there are tune-up fights, yes. There are guys that are told early in your career, hey, we're going to pay you to go in there with this guy. Take it a little easy, right? They try to set him up. They go tell the other guy, hey, this guy's going to come at you full steam. I want you to knock him out. When they told the other guy to take it easy, they paid the guy, try to get him to be not on alert, and their guy knocks him out. He really knocks him out, but he got set up. Or they put him in knowing that he's not on his skill level, and they set that guy up again. He got set up. Sometimes when you fight, and you go to these other places to like train or whatever, you go with your team. That way your team can watch who you're fighting against. You don't want to go there with, I don't know, with your cousin or something, and then they'd be like, hey, you want to fight? And they put you in a ring with a monster. And I've seen that before in gyms, and kids have gotten really hurt, bro. Teeth knocked out, broken noses. I seen some bad shit in some gyms, bro. I have, yeah. I seen them knock this dude out, and he was out on his feet, and they stood him back up and said, continue the fight. And the other dude just creamed him. They knew he was out on his feet, and they were laughing about it. I seen some horrible shit. Yeah. Yeah, I have. And these are some of the things that happen. You shouldn't go to these places by yourself or with your cousin or your brother or something. Like, you got to go with people that can also step in and speak for your behalf. Nah. You ain't putting them in with this dude. Yeah, nah, you ain't doing that, man. They'll set you up. So these are things that all come with the sport. There's like I said, there's always going to be good and bad in this world, and you as a fighter, you got to evolve. It's crazy, right? All I want to do is be around like the most dangerous fighters in the world, surrounded by rappers, gangsters, and God knows who, con artists, slick talkers, and we're all in one room. And it feels like home. There are men that are born to fight, warriors, and you have to acquire. They gotta make a warrior setting. You can't be living a warrior's fucking lifestyle and then be coming up and going, "Hello, how you doing, sir? Do you have any gray poupon?" Yes. Why, yes, I do. Thank you, sir. What do you think? No. Their minds are always thinking hostile environment, fighting. Their surrounding is gonna reflect on who they have there. You're gonna see their kind of way of hanging out. And people got to understand these things. Sometimes things are said and things are done that necessarily will offend some people. But if you're offended in boxing, there's always golf. You know what I'm saying? Is like crocheting a sport now? Like crocheting? I mean, you could tune into that, I guess. You know? I don't know. There's a lot of safe. Tennis might be good for you. You know, they don't talk trash there. Just do that. Otherwise, enjoy the show. You're gonna hear some shit. You're gonna see some shit. Somebody's gonna get punched in the face at the weigh-in. Don't get offended. Oh, he should have never pushed him. Shit. Now we got ourselves a fight. Don't try to make these guys be like what is the word I'm looking for? Not humble, but um like they're trying to make these fighters be like soft, but fighters in the ring. They gotta their persona, like Mike. He used to come in the ring, no robe, no name on the back, ready to rip your head off. A towel, some black boots with no socks, and a jock strap. That's all he had, and a mouthpiece. I'm gonna knock you. I'm not here to impress anybody, to write my name on trunks. He didn't focus on none of that. Yo, and that's sometimes like, some of these fighters they worry about different shit. But yeah, man. Let me read what you guys saying. Yeah, well, Zepeda, look, they're saying Zepeda got injured. I mean, posted. What do you think about Boost versus Ortiz fight? Is it at 147? Boots versus Ortiz is never gonna happen, my dude. That's not gonna happen. Mm-mm. 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 He did the same thing with Terrence Crawford. Went on the mic, said, "Yeah, I want the smoke." What did he do? Yeah, if I see Terrence Crawford right now, I will break him. All right, tell Terrence Crawford I want a shot at I want my shot. Virgil, you're the mandatory. Just serve him with the mandatory papers. Nah, for 2 years, I'm gonna claim I want that smoke, but never fill out the paperwork. Oh shit! All of a sudden, he wants to fight Jerron Busanis. Hmm. Hmm. Haven't I seen this movie before? Haven't you attached your name to Black Americans fighters, stars? Haven't you done this before? But you don't ever seem to be any closer on fighting them than your stablemate Cepeda. And look, this is hypothetical. I'm not attaching this to Cepeda, and I'm not accusing him of anything. But here's some food for thought. Okay? He happens to be the number one guy in all four major sanctioning bodies. And the one thing about coming up the rankings, I'm going to be honest with you guys, that testing for steroids is at a minimum. And if you got a powerful promoter such as Oscar, that he knows all the presidents of every sanctioning body, personally, they don't give two shits about Oscar, but he might have somebody on the inside in their organization. You don't have to have the head, just have somebody on the inside, right? If you got the kind of protection he has, I don't think you're really getting tested. The only time by law now where they step in and test you is after the world title fight. They might not test you a lot all the way until the fight. but I can almost guarantee you that after the fight, there's a guy going to be waiting for you, and he wants two things from you: blood and urine. It makes me think you're throwing 1,000 punches a fight. You just had this fight with Farmer. What the way he won the fight was that he threw an amazing amount of punches, almost superhuman like. And Farmer, bro, he Farmer fought a good fight, but so I see this. Then you see William Cepeda's last fight, and I'm thinking, why doesn't he take the championship fight? Now, I'm not saying anything, but it makes me go, you do everything but fight the champion, where they gonna fucking take your blood. No sooner you step out, I can guarantee you they're taking his blood. That blood test is going to reveal a lot. And then on his performance, if you see a drop in his performance and you see that in going into the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, his volume of punches go down, the boxing world is going to pick up on that. At least coaches and other fighters, they're going to know what they're seeing. And some people, they got a good eye for this shit. They can tell when you're like coming off a cycle. You know, some people have different side effects. Sometimes a man's chest will like kind of like bubble up like a breast or something, like a small, it gets like this bubble underneath, right? Some guys, you know, you can see it in their skin. Other guys, you can see the visible puncture wounds, because sometimes you shoot it in your stomach, right? And you don't always put it in the same spot. So when they're like getting off of it, by the time they go weigh in, if you look close, you'll be able to see traces of it. I learned all this, you know, coming up in the game by people pointing it out to me. And they taught me this stuff. And there's other ways, you know, I would know guys, bro, they could look across the room and go, he's coming off a cycle. You know, they're pretty good, man. But it's hard now with all the great shit they got. I can imagine what they got nowadays. I can imagine. It's probably way better than, you know, the time I was coming up. You know, this shit right now, I can just imagine, you know, how it is. So, um, you know, there's just, you know, there's a lot of uh uncertainty with some fighters. Some fighters make me think about their situation. Other fighters, I'm questioning the fight. Does Oscar De La Hoya let Ryan Garcia go out there and fight this guy? You know, like what you know, that's your investment right there, Oscar. If this Japanese dude goes out there and knocks out Ryan Garcia, you're fucked. Hell yeah, bro. His credibility as a fighter, everybody won't believe in him. They won't bet on him. But now, like I said, there's a flip side to that coin. If he goes out there and just knocks this dude out, is he really going to get credit for that? I mean, it's not going to be a sanctioned fight, right? I think it's 6 rounds. So, Oscar, do you really think he can survive 6 rounds? Does he have enough skill? Probably, yeah, I would think so. I would think so, but he didn't look like in shape. He still can get in trouble in a kind of fight like that. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm not sure if I sign off on that fight for Ryan. Yo, it might piss you off. Oh, you're not letting me fight. Da, da, da. Maybe I'll trick Ryan. I'll say, yeah. I'll sign off on the fight, but next month, stay in shape. I want to see that you're in shape. You know, you know, and then, you know what? Nah, because your year is almost up, and I'm already signing you to fight your a professional fight. So why don't you just forget about this expedition? Just go back into training camp for me, and fight the professional fight and just stall it out until you get them back into and keep them in shape. Fuck that shit, that sideshow shit, you know. But keep him training, keep him thinking he's gonna get it. Like, you know what I mean? You know, but it'll be beneficial for your fighter, and it would be good for Ryan to actually be in shape. You know, and Ryan might be like, "Yeah, you played me," but in the end, he'll probably thank you. You know, because he'll be like, "Yo, had it not been for you stringing me along, I would have had to start training from like day one, and you know, I'm better prepared for this situation." The only thing with Ryan is that Ryan just got to get out of his own way. Ryan got to get out of his own way, if you know what I mean. And he'll be okay. He's a remarkable talent. I would love to have Ryan Garcia in my stable. You know what I'm saying? Like, of fighters, because he's a great talent. He just gotta be learn how to be teachable and do exactly what the trainers say. Don't go, yeah, I see how you're throwing it, but I throw it like this. Don't, no, we're not going over what you know and I know. No, no, we're not having a conversation. Just do what the hell I say to do. You know, just fight, because at the end of the day, right? Truth be told, I can only teach you how to throw punches, explain certain boxing situations, what to do, how to approach the fight, and what to look for. It's up to the fighter to put it all together, right? So basically, when the fighter goes back to the corner after every round, that's why you don't see the fighter and the coach talking so much. In some fights, you do, where they didn't really have a game plan. They were just keeping their fighter wasn't on that kind of level yet. He'll get there, but he's not. So they're talking. He's asking him, how you feel? What do you see? Blah blah blah. And the coach is telling him what he saw and what he would like him to do. See? But when you see those fights where the coach is just, yeah, we're good. Yeah. Give me your mouthpiece. Yep. We've already did all the talking. We've already got a game plan. There's nothing to talk about. Go out there and execute. You should be doing the game plan we trained for. And if everything's going as according to plan, I should only be washing your mouthpiece. Look, yep, you look great, champ. Putting some Vaseline. Keep doing what you're doing. Yep. Keep working. Yep. You look great. Go. There's nothing to talk about. So that's why, you know, and these are things like, you know, learning things in situations in boxing and for fighters. You know, these are all types of, you know, scenarios. And I think that some of these guys, you know, they're young fighters. And I think that in the spotlight, we kind of put a lot of pressure on them, like Bruce Carrington. As you can see, they were already talking him up with the great legend, active fighter, Naoya Inoue. Are you kidding me? Yo, that Japanese dude would brutalize that man. But yet, you know, they're trying to, oh, yeah, Bruce Carrington, you would fight Naoya Inoue. Say it, say it, say it, say yes. Yeah, just for them to get somebody like setting him up. You know, they're on two different levels, bro. You know, Naoya Inoue would Bruce Carrington has to get a lot better. I don't even think he's better than Stephen Kubo Fulton. And you've seen how Stephen Kubo Fulton fared up against Naoya Inoue. And I think Stephen Kubo Fulton is obviously better than Bruce Carrington. Yeah. So, you know, I think that what you guys got to say? Farmer, I'm reaching a bit. Wants me to take word that a Mexican fighter is not tested. Oh yeah, when Farmer was saying leading into the thing, I heard about that. I had talked about that. That Farmer was saying that Cepeda wasn't tested or him leading into their fight. So Farmer himself, just before the fight, opted for you know, he volunteered for urine tests. for a drug test. He says, you know what? Why don't I'm here anyway? Why don't you take my urine and blood, and you can say for this fight that I was clean, right? And they said, yeah, sure, 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 sure. But we got to make an appointment for that. So why don't you come back Wednesday, because we're booked right now. So come back Wednesday and we'll take care of that. When he came back Wednesday, the office was closed. He keep calling him. Yeah, we're gonna test you, Farmer. Don't worry about it. The fight is over with. They still haven't tested him. Neither do they got test results for William Cepeda. But they don't got test results for William Cepeda in his last fight. And they don't got test results for William Cepeda in his last fight. He's hasn't been tested. He's not. They say that his name is in a random pool, and if it comes up, then they'll test him. But for his last few fights, they're saying that he hasn't been tested. So William Cepeda, that's bullshit. William Cepeda saying, nah, he's just hating. This is all bullshit, you know. And the truth is, they've never bagged William Cepeda with PEs. You know, that's just kind of like calling Naoya Inoue and saying it would be the same kind of thing. If you've never bagged him, not to say he's not doing it, because at least Naoya Inoue is getting blood tested after every world title fight. Like, you know, as soon as he got the guards right there, he's fighting for 4 belts. That's the highest, you know, they got him back room that there's already set up, you know, he's used to it, you know, so he's definitely a clean fighter, right? But after a post-fight interview, right? After the post-fight interview, look at William Cepeda's arms. If he's wearing a short sleeve or a long sleeve. And if you look down and he doesn't have a gauze anywhere here, then likely they didn't take his butt. Like, for instance, case in point, look at Anthony Joshua in the Dubois fight. When Dubois came out to talk to the public after he scored that amazing knockout against Anthony Joshua, look at his arm. He has the white gauze pad right there that, you know, after they take your blood, they put that little gauze and little tape on you. He has it right there. So doesn't Anthony Joshua. Go look at the world championship fight after their fights. If they don't come out with, like, you know, their team jacket on, because now it's covering it up. But if they come out with a short sleeve, you're gonna notice that. And truth be told, I've never seen William Cepeda with a gauze on his arm. And if you could find a video like that, please send it to me. Clip it and send it to my inbox, because I would love to see it. You know, because, you know, when people kind of make accusations like that, bro, don't you think that I would want to shut you up to prove, like, bro, don't try to tarnish my name. Don't try to say that I got here by a steroid-driven career. You know? And then the other guy that's on the stuff is going to say, oh, I don't address clowns. I don't have to please him. Really? No, you don't. Technically, you don't. But do you save face? What harm would it do by you publicizing one of your drug tests? I think it would, you know, shut up some people, right? You know, what? You calling me a dirty fighter? What? Get over here. Take that, right? Yep. Yep. Read that off. In your face, punk. Right? I'm whooping your ass no matter what. It doesn't, you can say what you want, right? I guess, you know, and that's just me, but, you know, there's a flip side to that coin. William Cepeda doesn't need to jump through hoops for Farmer. Who the fuck are you? Okay, you call me a cheater, whatever, good. I'm still gonna whoop your ass. But according to the rules, they've never caught me with PEs. So if they didn't test him, well, or they didn't, who tested him? If they did, who? If Vada doesn't have a slip for that fight, Vada or Wada, they don't got no slips for the fight. So it's not. It wasn't a world title fight. The testing wasn't mandatory. It was just a regular fight. Is this why he's not fighting championship fights? Like, I'm not saying he is on or doing anything foul. No. But it makes me go, And I would love nothing better than William Cepeda to shut me up and all the other fans on a little doubt or speculation. Let him go into a championship fight and dominate. Then I'm like, ooh, that was really him. When they said that about Naoya anyway, the hand wraps, the steroid accusations, and he went out there. Here, check my gloves. What hand wraps you want me to use? You want me to piss in this cup? Okay, I did it. You got enough cameras, enough eyes on me? Check this out. Bow! I still knocked him out. This is me. I'm him. I'm the real deal. That's when you'll be like, shit. William Cepeda go out and do some shit like that? I'll be the first one. But I've stuck up for this man for a long time. I got receipts. You guys got me on my channel saying it. Yo, you can't be that hard on William Cepeda. You got to give him the benefit. If he was having a baby, then that's family shit, right? You can't be hard on William Cepeda. If he got an injury, he got an injury. You can't be hard on William Cepeda. I mean, his heart wasn't. Oh, fuck, man. William Cepeda is a goddamn duck. All right? You know what I'm saying? How much more can I defend this? When's the last time you seen a fighter number one? And I got to admit that the guy's good. He's fucking good for Panda stable of fighters. He's considered to be the best fighter, right? Since Subria left, right? So I don't know. It just makes me go, That's all I'm saying. I'm not accusing him. I'm pointing things out. That I'm just saying what people are thinking. That's it. That's exactly what's going on. I'm just saying what people are thinking. That's all. See what you guys think about this shit. Would love to hear his explanation on why he wasn't tested. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I didn't even read this. I hope you don't say anything crazy. Farmer said that there was a possibility, a positive testing, but it was never done, and everyone else on that Latin card was tested. Yes, I heard his that's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. And if you're publicly coming out and making these kind of accusations against me, trying to tarnish wouldn't you think that I would, there's people going to think this shit because what he was saying was making sense. And then when you want to go check it, everybody else's test is on fucking line. And Vada is saying, yup. When Vada's puts out the test, if you go there, it tells you what fighters are suspended, what fighters got tested, what fighters popped. The only two that were not on it were those two guys, with Farmer and Cepeda, unfortunately. So when he says these things, I'm like, ugh. He looks like he's telling the truth. So Cepeda, prove us him wrong. Come on, Cepeda, man. Don't let him say this shit about you. And like Naoya, in a way, he was quick. Bro, hold up. Whoa. With steroids. What do you want? A hair sample? Here. Go. What, give me the results. What were the answers? I was clean. Yeah. I'm him, right? So I, I said, Cepeda, shut him up, please. Say, tell us that it ain't so. What he started saying started making me think, and I was like, oh shit. And I've already known. I've spoke about it. You know, I was like, yo, how can he be the number 1 and 4? You guys heard me say that before, right? So like, I'm like, damn, bro. And I just, I truly look. You guys know me. I stick up for fighters, bro. But I do call you out on your bullshit, right? I can be critical, but I'm not judging a man. I'm not crucifying these fighters. Judgmental over shit that I know that I'm not perfect neither. But when I'm critical to some of their boxing decisions, what they look like in the ring, what they're giving to the sport, and what the message that they're putting out for the fans. And I'm cool with talking about that. I'm not cool with talking about somebody's mother, their wife, their kids, their significant other, whatever. That doesn't have to do with anything I like in the sport of boxing, right? So, with that being said, uh, let me see. I think that boxing is in a good place. I think that every so often we take a hit. We do. We take a hit as far as, you know, these fights being put together and pleasing the masses. Sometimes there's shit in boxing that you don't really understand. I don't understand why Tank and Shakur hasn't fought. I do look at the sport as us versus them in a sense. I think that our American fighters represent America and Japan fighters represent Japan. China, Russia, etc., Ukraine. And when it comes to competition, I would like to see our guys rise and obtain a world title, of course. And I would like the titles to come back to America, of course. When we're talking about competition, I want the gold medals to come to us. Absolutely. Now, when it comes to the sweet science and boxing itself, I enjoy watching men like this, Naoya Inoue, the Terence Crawfords of the world, the Ismail Madachek, the Lomachenkos, the Naoya Inoues, the Junto Nakatonis, the Bam Bam Rodriguez's, the Saul Canelo Alvarez's of the world. And I love all those fighters for what? Their fighting style and what they're doing in the ring. Not for their skin color or what they say. That has nothing to do with fighting. Fighting, if you can fight, you can fight. And that's why I do this right here. At the end of the day, I always ask myself, what does the greatest fighter on the planet look like? And who is he? I want to know. You know, there's always a plateau that somebody sometime reaches a milestone in boxing that is so impressive that a lot of guys are not really, coming close. But in this boxing era, shit, we had some of the most amazing fighters right in front of our eyes. Boxing probably never experienced this kind of era. Are you kidding me? We had three men unify all four belts in two separate weight divisions in the same era. Terence Crawford, Naoya Inoue, and Usyk, the heavyweight champion. You seen how many guys we shoot Look at the list of men in our era. And that's why some of the times the fans are frustrated because you got in the same era Tank Davis, Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, fighters like Naoya Inoue, and shit, Anthony Joshua, Usyk. You have so much variety of fighters, and the list goes on. You got the Bam Ram Rodriguez's, the uh oh my god, my brain's just blowing up here with names. It's being flooded, right? But my point is look at the talent that you have before you. Have you ever remember an era this rich with talent? The Camille Motons, the Abdullah Masons, the Keyshawn Davises, the Xander Zions, the Subriel Matiases. Yo, listen, when the best era they had was a four horseman era that was holding boxing together. You had Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Marvelous Hagler, and Hitman Hearns. Yeah, that was a nice era, but that was basically four guys keeping boxing alive. We have right now some of the greatest moments in boxing history. Naoya Inoue, Terrence Crawford, and Usyk are all walking into the Hall of Fame. And I'm not just saying like that's never been done in boxing, but the quality of performances and what they achieve in comparison, those names that are soon to go to the Hall of Fame, they're gonna have to make areas for the old guys a little smaller and their new. We gotta make room for the new museum part, man, because they got more belts and shit. So we gotta push you to the back. Yeah. Matter of fact, take down everything and put it in one plaque. Everything he did, make sure you get it. Make the plaque longer, but set it in the back over there. We need maybe a bigger display here for the new guys. Yeah, they got more shit. All right, we living in a real interesting boxing era, people. Yo, I'm Terrence Crawford and Naoya Inoue are making the argument for the greatest to ever do it. Not just the greatest to do it in your era. They're soon going to be in conversation with men that like the best who ever laced up the gloves. When it's all said and done for those two guys, they're candidates. They're not there now. They got to retire. I understand that, and I preach that. And I'm in agreement. We can't call them GOAT right now. No, you can't. The only way you can be called GOAT is when you retire in boxing. They tally up your career, then you're in the qualification. You got to meet the qualifications, is what I meant. And then they see if you're up for that kind of conversation. Should you be it? Do you meet the standards at least? They just don't let anyone in the conversation because and then you start to lower the bar for some dude, and all of a sudden a scoring title comes into the conversation when a scoring title was never in the conversation. Beat three beats. That just do that. Same shit with belts. Same shit with legacy, divisions, fives. What did you do? They tally, and then we talk about ghost status, shit like that, right? So, you know, uh, we're in a great era of boxing, and then that's why we're so frustrated because I think that we've been really spoiled of late, coming off an explosion year like 2023, leading into this year. Did you see that knockout with Junko Nakatoni, the way he knocked out Maloney? Yo, he looked like he hit that man in his soul, ran out of the ring, and took off. If you have the time, go look at that knockout from Junto Nakatoni to Maloney. Look at the lady's reaction in the front row. She has like the leopard shirt on, right? Yo, you should see it. She's like, right? And this is a lady. She's been to thousands of fights. I think she's like an official. You in many Japanese those fights. The same lady is in the same place in the same her. Yeah, she's always there. And look at her reaction. She was like like she saw her son get knocked out. It was crazy. And we're spoiled. We're spoiled as fighting fans, I think. Yeah. So now we've gotten to a point where we were seeing a lot of big fights and we were like boxing junkies and we need our fix. You know, we finally got that Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, and it really didn't live up to expectation. It was like we got a weak supply. We were still out there like, yo, man, where's the next fight? You know what I'm saying? Jonesing. So when Tank Davis didn't fight the right guy and Shakur Stevenson kind of didn't have the greatest performances, we felt kind of let down, I think, in a sense. We don't got a heavyweight champion as an American fighter, and we really don't got any champions past 154. So Terrence Crawford is leading, holding the torch right now, I still think. There's no American champions past 154, right? No. We haven't had the heavyweight championship since Deontay Wilder. That was the last heavyweight champion for Americans, for us anyway. Yeah. For the other countries, they're doing quite well. You know, everybody but Americans have titles up there. Yeah. We're just we're the little guys. 154 and down. We used to be dominant. Not anymore. Big baby Jarrell, big baby, the one that just got knocked out, that baby, not Jarrell Miller, the other one. And he just had a fight and he pulled out. I don't know if he'll ever be the same. Torres is probably, I think, our closest. I don't think he's ready, but he's going to be on a card. I don't know, man. Maybe Xander Zion could represent and move up 160 or something. Young Xander Zion and get out of that 154. I think that's a very dangerous division. And I just want to see him become champion. I think there's elbow room at 160, whether or not he can feel comfortable at that weight. But I think there's opportunity there. I don't think there's a lot of opportunity when there's that many superstar in one division. You know, and even though Tim Tszyu lost, he's still got a good name. And with the return of the Charlo twins, you know, their name still carries weight. So look, guys, you know, shit, I don't got the chat thing here. I'm sorry. Let me see what you guys were saying here. Where are the Vikers? What the fuck is this guy talking about? Wow. You know that, but that's what I think, though, guys. You know, I think that we have been spoiled of late of fans, but I do really believe that we are in a very interesting boxing time. You know, and you know, fighters like Naoya Inoue right now are really showing that you know, the best fighting the best, and I commend him for setting the bar that high. Because if there's another man, a young man out there that's looking up at the champions of today, and if he's ever thinking about chasing down the great Naoya Inoue, well, in boxing, there's no shortcuts really. You're going to have to match him or surpass him. And what he's doing right now, 22 consecutive world title fights, 4 weight divisions, only 28 fights with 25 knockouts. I don't want to hear that you defended 4 belts 8 times and you're better than Naoya Inoue because you defended your belts 8 times or some shit like that. No, with only having 1 weight division. You got to match Naoya Inoue in several things, just like he has to match the greats. We talked about this. Maybe Yeah, there'll be one legend that got one record over you, and you might have one record over him or two, or what have you. But when it's all said and done, the boxing gods will have a say at it. They're going to have a look at your resume. What did you do? They will have to acknowledge you because the boxing gods acknowledge one thing. You are only accountable for your division that you fight in. This is not a popularity contest. This is not, oh, Terrence Crawford is better because we believe his no, get the fuck out, bro. You can't judge Terrence Crawford's opponents to Naoya Inoue's opponent. That doesn't work that way. You understand? That doesn't work that way. The men that were in your division, where they were the number one, number twos, etc., the question is, did you beat them? Yes or no? Yes. And were they higher ranked than your opponents? Did you fight the number 8 guy, the number 10 guy, the number 3 guy, the number 4 guy, and then this guy fought the number 1 guy, the number 1 guy, the number 2 guy, the number 1 guy, the number 3 guy, the number 1 guy? Wait a minute. Then he actually fought the better of the competition. You might not know their names, but when you look back, that's what they're going to look at when they are inspecting his record. The boxing gods. They're going to be like, oh. And they're also going to realize one other thing, that the Japanese superstar, on average, he's lost about 10 rounds in his professional career. That means on average, every round he's ever fought in, 90% he's winning every round. That's an amazing stat. How many rounds, how many fights have you seen Terrence Crawford in that he was losing the fight? How many rounds went back and forth in his career? Tank Davis, and name any fighter. When this is the shit they're gonna notice about this Japanese dude. That in fact, there's not a lot of rounds he ever lost. He won all 8 rounds against Stephen Kubo Fulton. He won every round against Marlon Tapales. He won every round against Paul Butler. He won every round against Ramirez. You're gonna notice. Wait a minute. Fuck losing. This dude hasn't lost many rounds. You gotta really go through his resume to find the round he lost. They're gonna start seeing shit like that. Stuff that I see. That I'm sitting here laughing, going, wait until it's all said and done. Just wait until they see that resume come across the table. These are things they're not telling you about this Japanese dude. And records, they don't want to. The American dudes, but I cover great fighters. And I express that. I don't give two shits. Who is the greatest fighter in the world and what does he look like? That's all I want to know. Right? And because I got an image in my head, and he doesn't look like that. He never looked like a 5'5" Japanese dude. I'm gonna keep it honest. In my head, he didn't look like that. Okay, but they're gonna. Oh my God, this guy, he's got some impressive stats. But I'm still on the line that he did it a little too good, a little too well. Had he had like a regular boxer's rise, where that in each division he did that 7-8 title defense type thing in every division. He didn't do that at one, like some divisions, 1 or 2, and he doesn't have a lot of fights. He just kept fighting the best after the best after the best. He kept fighting like the champion, the number 1 guy, the champion. Yeah, he just kept moving up weights, doing like video game shit. He was like jumping 2 weight divisions, fighting the champion right away. Yeah, I want you. Pop, 1 round, knockout. Give me your belt. Next, yeah, you. Bow, knockout. Give me your belt. Hey, you. Bow, knockout. Give me your belt. Let's go. And he was just moving through these guys. Had it not been for the corona epidemic that it held back the entire world by those 2 years, his record would be like even crazier. You know, I could imagine what he would have accomplished had it that corona epidemic never happened in the world. If we never going through that, how much more impressive could it have been, you know? Um, and where does he end up? Like, how far is he gonna go? His career is not over. Like, he's 31 years old, and these dudes is paying him millions of dollars to walking around in a goddamn t-shirt and shit, and he's doing remarkable stuff. And where's he end up? What more are you gonna put on that career? But he has to be careful about calling it quits. He has to understand that he is responsible for his legacy. You know, um, it kind of is like that moment where in a baseball game you went on a 44 hitting streak and you didn't have time to recognize that. You were just going out hitting. And then every day the cameras keep coming in front of your face that one day you realize, oh shit, I'm almost breaking the record. And then all of a sudden you start to doubt yourself, or you swing at pitches you shouldn't have been swinging at because all you want to do is continue to get a hit. Now that's called pressure. And you allow that to come in. When they let you just play ball and you didn't have anything, you were just cranking it. Ding, ding. Had it not been for that pressure, you see, so um these fighters like Naoya anyway, man, like he's dealt with big fights, man. He's dealt with pressure, he's dealt with um there's not too many things that they haven't put in front of him that he hasn't passed. Yeah. I seen him with lefties, I seen him with taller fighters, shorter fighters, brawlies, technicians, counter punchers, foot guys, um hard, strong punchers, equal power. I've seen him in the ring with all that, all that already, and he's passed the tests. He got dropped by Luis Pantera Nari, right? That was a beautiful shot that Luis set him up with, but it's what he did after he got up off the canvas. So these are the things I talk about these great fighters, and he just happens to be one of them. Yeah, I think that we're really spoiled as fight fans. I think as fight fans, though, we do deserve some of these fights. We were promised some of these fights. And boxing's kind of took a dip a little. So I think it has to go back up. We will be seeing Tyson Fury fight for the heavyweight championship against Usyk that defeated him. And we have a lot of other fights in front of us. So, fight fans, listen, let me read this right here just before I go. I hope he didn't say nothing to that. This is a dope channel. Thank you. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. Um, I'm a passionate guy, and I like talking about boxing. And I promise to get my glasses. These things. I would be talking more and everything, but my eyes start to hurt after a while. Because I'm really trying to strain to read your comments, and I know I understand I need some glasses, so I'm not getting any younger, huh? So, fight fans, listen, man. Please like the video, comment on the video, share the videos. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you to all the members that support my channel, and I'm able to do these things and buy software and things to make the channel nice, and also I want to save up to go out to one or two of these fights because I do pay for this out of pocket. And I'm paying for the hotel room, the rental car, and everything. So sometimes it takes a little bit of while to save up the money to get out there. but you can help by donating to the channel. And you guys see me when I went out to the Sabria fight and everything, and all the fights that I have been covering and the fighters that I interview, it's all due in part by your guys' support. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And please love yourselves. And I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace.